What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, I want to talk about the KealHarry situation. Now, obviously, I was never able to actually cover this for reasons I've already talked to you guys about and let you guys know. So I do want to cover KealHarry, the whole trade situation, some teams that I feel that overall he could potentially go to. Now, to talk about the facts here a little bit, so KealHarry's agent is the one who actually requested the trade. It was a formal trade, and Nikhil and his agent both talked to each other. They both agreed that, hey, I think it's best if we look for a trade. It's probably the best for his career, and I completely understand that. So for those who don't know, this is actually what KealHarry's agent had to say. He said, and I quote, "For the past several months, I've been working in cooperation with the Patriots behind the scenes to put a plan in place to allow Nikhil to thrive in New England. Through 2 seasons, he has 86 targets, which obviously hasn't met the expectations the Patriots and Nikhil had when they drafted a dominant downfield threat who is virtually unstoppable at the point of attack in college. Following numerous conversations with the Patriots, I believe it's time for a fresh start and best for both parties if Nikhil moves on before the start of training camp. That is why I have informed the Patriots today I am formally requesting a trade on behalf of my client." And I know that there's a lot of people on this KealHarry spectrum who hate Nikhil and think that he's a crybaby and a quitter for potentially requesting this trade, and then there's people that understand it. I think that genuinely everyone should understand why KealHarry is requesting this trade. I completely understand why people would be frustrated, and I think everyone should have a sense of being frustrated. The fact that you draft a player in the first round, although the end of the first round, still the first round, you passed on all this other talent that's worked out phenomenally in the NFL to have a guy who hasn't even been able to put up 500 yards on a single season, let alone both seasons he's been in the NFL combined. I wasn't totally sure why the Patriots drafted KealHarry at the time, but I was like, you know what? I trust Belichick. This is the first time that he's done it in his career. He must see something in Nikhil, and since he's drafted, I guess my feeling was right because I still just do not understand what they saw in him that was a system fit. I do believe that KealHarry can thrive somewhere else with the right quarterback, with the system that is surrounded and based off of the type of player he is. I think that he could be successful, but a slow, wide receiver that's not able to separate, has a very small route tree, has never been the type of receiver that succeeds in New England. The Patriots aren't really a downfield threat type of team. They work to the short to intermediate routes, and they take chances down the field when it's there. Again, KealHarry isn't a good short to intermediate route receiver. He's someone that will get close to no separation at all. He's somebody who does not have a strong route tree. He's not somebody who's going to make nice, sharp cuts. He's going to be a guy that really thrives on his ability from the chest up and being a 50-50 contested ball catcher. And a lot of people try to use this argument as, well, KealHarry didn't work out, but Jacoby Myers worked out, and you have to understand that they are two very, very different types of wide receivers, and the type of receiver that Jacoby Myers is much more friendly in the Patriots system than the type of receiver that KealHarry is. I think that Nikhil knows his place currently in the Patriots system. He knows that, hey, he's not the first receiver on the depth chart. He's not the second. Don't even think he's the third at this point. He's looking more at 4 to 5, and he's fighting to make a roster spot against a UDFA that was picked up last year in Isaiah Zuber, and that Isaiah Zuber probably has the upper hand in this situation. It will look a lot better for KealHarry if he is traded and he asks for a trade, rather than him just straight up getting cut right before the start of the regular season. It's going to look a lot worse on him. And while I do believe that either way, teams will have interest in signing KealHarry, bringing him in for a workout and giving him a contract, how big that contract is, for how many years, or even just the amount of money he gets, I think could be very dependent on, hey, are you straight up released, or are you traded because he asked for a trade? Overall, I believe it comes down to him trying to look out for his career, and I completely understand that. Now, from what was reported, experts think that N'Keal would be worth a conditional 6th-round pick. And that doesn't mean that the Patriots would straight up get a 6th-round pick. It would mean that he has to meet certain standards with the team he is traded to in order for the Patriots to acquire that 6th-round pick. If he does not meet those requirements, then the Patriots just wouldn't get the draft pick. So, for example, if they traded him for a conditional 6th-round pick, some of the conditions could be, hey, he has to play a total of 16 games. He has to have a total of 40 receptions. He has to have a total of 200 yards. And me personally, I just think that it would be smarter overall to keep KealHarry than to just grab a conditional 6th-round pick at that point, because you don't even know if you're 100% going to get it. Now, I believe if it's a 5th-round pick or better, then already go ahead and trade him. And I think there's certain things Belichick can do to try to make KealHarry look a whole lot better to the media, to outside personnel, in order to try to drive up that trade value, such as making him look better in training camp, maybe throwing him out there in the preseason games and putting him in situations that are better for KealHarry and the type of receiver he is, to showcase himself off better, to try and drive that stock up a little bit. I know for a fact that there's going to be several teams interested in him. It's already reported several teams are interested in him. Maybe if KealHarry shows a little bit more of a flash, they can at least drive the price up to at least a 5th-round pick. And there are a few teams that would actually really like to see KealHarry on. You know, would I like to see him succeed with the Patriots? 100%, do not get me wrong. But at the end of the day, just seeing KealHarry succeed in general is something that I would like to see, because he has come into New England. He has tried. He's been a good guy, and I do genuinely wish the best for him either way. One of my favorite destinations for him is actually the Seahawks, and I haven't heard too many people talking about this. I do know that they made a couple of off-season additions at tight end, and I believe wide receiver too. I know they still have Lockett. Obviously, Metcalf is there. They added Dwayne Eskridge. But they also have a terrible offensive line. With that being said, they are going to need to have elite top-of-the-end weapons at receiver, running back, tight end, in order for Russell Wilson to succeed more, to get the ball out of his hands as quickly as possible. And I think that KealHarry could be very friendly in the type of system that the Seahawks do run. They really do like to attack downfield. Russell Wilson has really good accuracy. He's able to extend plays, which I think could help get KealHarry open a little bit more, draw some attention away from him. He obviously wouldn't be going into a situation where he's the 1st or 2nd wide receiver. He's likely the 3rd guy. So it could potentially be a favorable matchup for him. And I think that Russell Wilson is just the type of quarterback that is more willing to throw the ball up to a receiver he trusts. And that is where KealHarry succeeds, again, in those 50-50 contested ball catches. Now, next up is one that is very, very likely, and that is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Arizona Cardinals were actually very interested in KealHarry during the draft process. Obviously, they didn't draft him in the 1st round. They weren't going to trade back into the 1st round to select him, but they did say that they were planning on selecting him in the 2nd round with their next pick, but obviously the Patriots jumped them. Now, just like the Seahawks, I do believe that Kyler Murray would succeed well with KealHarry in the fold. Also, just like the Seahawks, I think that KealHarry would be in a situation where he'd probably be the 3rd wide receiver. I don't think he'd be 1st. He wouldn't be 2nd. Obviously, they do have some additions there. AJ Green, along with some of the other receivers that they've had there for a while now. And I'd actually really be interested to see that 1-2 punch of a KealHarry and an AJ Green both on the same field, because, you know, while they are still different receivers, I think they do also have some similarities. And then the last team here that I could see him going to, a team that I've actually heard a lot being related back to him when it comes to these trade talks, is the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the 49ers are trying to recruit KealHarry, Brandon Ayuk. I believe that Ayuk and N'Keal were former teammates, if I remember that correctly. So Ayuk has already been trying to recruit KealHarry to the San Francisco 49ers. Again, I think that this is a situation where N'Keal could try and push to be the 2nd overall receiver, but definitely to come in, likely going to be that 3rd guy yet again, behind Brandon Ayuk and also Deebo Samuel. And I'm not exactly sure how he would perform with a Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he'd be a little bit more successful, but I think Jimmy Garoppolo is kind of the same type of quarterback that the Patriots have or like to even run in their system. So I don't think that N'Keal would be too much more successful with the Jimmy Garoppolo, but I do believe that with a Trey Lance, obviously, depending on how he develops and turns into the NFL, that could be a really good matchup. We know that Trey Lance really does like to attack downfield, has a big arm, and that could be something that really thrives with KealHarry. Now, before we end this video off, I do want to talk about the sponsors of this video, betonline.ag. Now, BetOnline has the fastest and the easiest ways to bet on all of your sports action. Football might be over, but NBA, college basketball, and the NHL is still a full swing. BetOnline even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV with real-time updated props and odds on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline also has you covered for all of the news, scores, and odds, and it's the best way to place your bets, and it's completely free to sign up. All you guys have to do is use your mobile device or sign up today to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore. Get in with the action, and don't forget to use that promo code CLNS50 to receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. But what are your guys' thoughts on KealHarry? What are your thoughts on this whole trade situation, and what are some teams that, if it's not the Patriots, that you think he could go to and succeed? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video. Helps me out tremendously. But like always, appreciate you guys for watching. Catch you in the next one. Go Pats.